If you've followed me for any length of time, you know that my big conspiracy theory is that Arkansas is not a real place. Like, I know there's supposedly a state and everything, and Bill Clinton was from there, but like, have you ever really met somebody from Arkansas? Despite all that, though, the deep state wants us to believe that Arkansas exists, and as a result, they get 2 senators. And one of those senators is Tom Cotton, and he is awful. Now, I've got a good friend who claims he's from Arkansas. I'm still not sold. His name's Robert, but you might know him as Defiance 13. I called him nonetheless to see what Arkansans, Arkansasans, what they think about him. And apparently, they don't seem to think there's much to think about him at all because he's never around, he doesn't hold town halls, he left for some Ivy League school, ended up in D.C., and never comes back. He's out there worrying about things like cash bail in D.C. rather than the real problems that the supposedly real Arkansasans are facing. Like the farm crisis we are currently in that's causing families in Arkansas and around the country to lose their farms and farmer suicide rates to skyrocket to their highest levels ever. But thankfully, Arkansas has a chance to pick cotton out of Congress because 6th-generation farmer Hallie Schoffner is coming to harvest his seat.
I told you so. With a tractor, not a tweet. Tom Cotton didn't just ignore farmers, he weaponized them. Pushed tariffs that made U.S. soybeans uncompetitive, then let Brazil steal our market share. Now your bins are full, but your wallet's empty. And hi, Schoffner. She's not just running, she's grieving. Lost her own family farm to the very policies Cotton cheered for. That's not politics. That's personal.
And judging from the blue wave of wins we just saw, I don't see any reason she can't. And she understands firsthand the struggles that working class Americans are going through thanks to people like Tom Cotton. And now she's got all the time in the world to do the job Tom Cotton refuses to do, representing people from Arkansas and working class families nationwide. Because thanks to the farm crisis that Tom Cotton helped create, the farm that's been in her family for 6 generations has been lost. And that's why she's running for Senate, because not only is she salt of the earth, but she is salty about all the lives left in ruins by the people the billionaires have bought in Washington. And she is the only farmer running for Senate anywhere in the midterms. So you might be wondering why the hell you haven't heard about her until now, because she should be on the news every single day representing rural America and who can represent them. Well, we know the billionaires have already bought all of our media, and if they can't buy you, you don't get airtime on it. But who the hell needs them? Because with victories in places like Virginia and New York and California and New Jersey and Colorado, we've showed that we can do this without them. So let's get to doing. And obviously every candidate needs donations, so if you can donate, that's great. But what she really needs right now is the name recognition and platform the media won't give her to get out her message. So let's give it to her. Do all the things that'll make this video get seen, and then go immediately from here to her page and follow her. Because I don't know about you, but I am sick and fucking tired of rural areas and red states getting ignored when some of the best candidates our country has to offer, who truly understand the worst of what we are going through, come from there. So you'll be hearing a hell of a lot more from me about Hallie and other candidates like her, but let's make sure you're not only hearing it from me and everybody is hearing about them, because 2026 is our time to take our country back from the billionaires.
So your state, you're talking about the sanctity of life. Your state had one of the highest maternal mortality rates in the country, according to the CDC, up until about 2021. Arkansas is one of the few states that hasn't extended postpartum care for mothers. Why don't you want those moms to get care for a full 12 months, as is being offered, instead of just 60 days?
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with the premise of your question, saying that I don't want that. I certainly want us to do everything that we can to help during pregnancy and well after a child is born, which is why we have done things like focus on the foster and adoption care. We've put significant funding into our pregnancy crisis centers. We're focusing on things that help our mothers, including bring your kids to work at state government. We've expanded maternity leave for state employees. We included that in our education package. We have taken a number of steps that are very positive in this front, and we're going to continue to do that as long as I'm governor.
With the states of Mississippi, Wyoming, Montana, South Dakota, they did extend for 12 months rather than the 60 days. So I'm just wondering specifically on that option, why you opted out.
We're going to continue to look at options that we feel like best help people here in the state of Arkansas. We've done that in a number of ways, and we're going to continue to do that over the course of hopefully the next 7 years while I'm governor of Arkansas.
Oh, honey, this is life or death theater. Arkansas has one of the highest maternal death rates in the country. Yet your governor's obsessed with crisis pregnancy centers, aka anti-abortion fronts. Meanwhile, states like Mississippi and Wyoming, yes, Mississippi extended postpartum care to 12 months, but Arkansas stuck in the 60-day death zone. You didn't vote for pro-life, you voted for anti-poor.
This picture is from August 27th when Sarah Huckabee Sanders welcomed the Martin Luther King Jr. Commission's Conference to Little Rock, Arkansas. And the reason I'm showing you this because I feel like it is extremely symbolic to what the MAGA party is doing for our country right now. It was raining and cold outside that day, and she just let those girls stand outside in the rain while she stayed nice and dry and kept her people that she was speaking to dry as well. She did not care what was happening to those teenage girls. She even made a comment while speaking that she would try to go faster so the girls would be able to come in from the rain. That is extremely on brand for the Republican Party right now. They are taking care of themselves and the people in power while letting the children suffer. We all know those girls did not need to be standing out there in the rain behind her while she spoke. She didn't have enough common sense to get them in and get them dry. This is just so on brand for the MAGA party, where they only care about themselves, and the ones that suffer are the children, the people that they claim they care about the most.
SNAP benefits means food on the table and groceries in the pantry. But if the government shutdown doesn't end by November 1st, they'll lose the help they rely on to feed their families.
Yeah, no. My name's Leah. I'm here for AR People, and I'm going to tell you the real tea about this government shutdown. So the same governor that in July was calling for the big, beautiful bill to get passed in Congress, the same bill that cut SNAP damagingly, is that a word? Damagingly. And the same governor that limited the type of food you could buy with their SNAP benefits is now pretending to care about SNAP benefits. Why? Why is that? Let's talk about it. So at the heart of this government shutdown right now is the Affordable Care Act subsidies that are set to expire this year. Those subsidies made it possible for hundreds of thousands of people to have health insurance. Arkansas has one of the worst rates of food insecurity in this country, has one of the highest maternal mortality rates in this country, and hundreds of thousands of Arkansans go uninsured or underinsured every year. And it was like that 30 days ago before this shutdown. Last year in 2024, Arkansas had a budget surplus of $700 million. That money has gone into reserve funds for times like this, for times in crisis. If she wanted to, she would. And from one Arkansan to another, I ask you, does she care about that? So, thank you so much for watching. My name's Leah, and I'll see y'all next time. And stay safe out there, y'all. Bye.
Y'all, I'm Hallie Schoffner. I'm the 6th-generation farmer running for the U.S. Senate here in Arkansas to unseat Tom Cotton. So yesterday I asked y'all to give $1 every time you've had an unanswered message or a canned email from Tom Cotton's office. And y'all gave almost $3,000. My God, 3,000 unanswered messages or canned emails from the guy that's supposed to represent and help the people of Arkansas? Arkansas deserves a senator who's going to show up and listen and never turn their back on someone when they reach out. And that's the kind of senator I commit to being. So thank you for all your support. Let's keep going. Let's send an even bigger message and kick him out of his seat.
We've seen this happen before, and it always starts with silence. Tom Cotton hasn't held a town hall in years. Meanwhile, he's busy worrying about cash bail in D.C., not your collapsing barn or your $300 power bill. Schoffner's already raised 3 Kalers from people who got canned replies from his office. That's not constituent services. That's ghosting with a Senate seal.
Not accept these amendments.
Well, I'm sorry.
That's directly what we're speaking on.
You don't get to have, this committee gets to decide whether we do. We're taking your opinions, and that's it.
When this bill is staking so many things, like
Thank you
our
very
education.
Much. Really appreciate you. You don't get to talk about those. You only get to talk about the things that are in this amendment right here.
I think that the amendments are not sufficient. They do not support what the bill
So you
needs.
can only speak on these amendments, this amendment right here. That's all you can talk about.
I am speaking on the amendments. They are not sufficient.
Okay. Thank you very much.
It doesn't work. It doesn't
Okay,
help.
thank you very
and it doesn't
much.
do anything to actually address how bad this bill is.
Thank you.
The way that you all are treating these students who have shown up to participate in the legislative process by pointing out things that are not in the amendment but should be, which is speaking on the amendment, is it is so disappointing that the adults in this room are going to treat children who came to try to participate in this process in this way. By talking to them and cutting them off in this way, believe me, you are giving them much more of a platform than you would have if you had just listened to their criticism of the amendments in the first place.
I'm an 11th grader and I'm here to speak on the amendments. I started off my speech here by saying that I wanted to thank y'all for the opportunity to speak. However, I take that back because y'all are not allowing us to speak. Y'all are not allowing for public comments on the way that we want to give it to you. And that is an overreach and unfair.
Very much. Appreciate your time.
I want to talk about the jobs report. Y'all know the one I'm talking about. Listen, the U.S. economy is circling the drain. And it's not just a trickle. A farmer friend of mine said it's like flushing a toilet. And that's really true. From Tom Cotton's high horse in D.C., he has no idea what's happening in Arkansas. But I can tell you what's happening right here on the ground. I'm a small business owner, so is my husband. Our economy is retracting. The truth is, everything costs so much that there's no profit margin for small businesses. Business owners are looking to the future, and all they see is uncertainty. That gives them two options. Close down, like we did. Call it quits before it gets worse. Before you have to risk everything.
This is the quiet death of Main Street. You can't run a shop when your customers are choosing between insulin and rent, thanks to GOP healthcare cuts. You can't hire when you don't know if your utility bill will double next month, thanks to that Texas power plant scam. And yet, MAGA lawmakers are busy banning books and trans kids, not fixing actual problems. Priorities or just performance?
Second is to sit back on your heels and wait it out and not grow. You're not going to hire new staff. You're not going to invest in infrastructure. Why would you if you don't know what the future holds? This is what it feels like on the ground. But all Tom Cotton does is whine about anything other than the economy. Listen, y'all, we can't fence time. There's no going backwards. We need leaders who have vision for what the economy of Arkansas could look like. Someone who sees our potential and will create opportunities for us. I'm Hallie Schoffner. I'm the 6th generation farmer running for the U.S. Senate here in Arkansas to unseat Tom Cotton.
If you're an immigrant in the Little Rock, Arkansas area, please, please, please be careful. They are picking people up. I just witnessed a group of people getting taken in at a gas station on Stagecoach. Be careful, stay at home, do not get out of your house if you don't have to. I'm working DoorDash all day. If you're hungry, place an order. Don't go to the store. Walmart delivery. Anything that you can have delivered, have delivered. If you have friends, please reach out to them. Reach out to me and ask for help if you need it, because I'll drive around, I'll make deliveries, I'll do anything I can do to help. So if you live on Stagecoach or if you frequent that area, stay at home, stay away from it, just be careful.
Listen to me. Racism is the poison in Arkansas soil. That's right, racism. Last week, hundreds of Arkansas farmers stood in a room and broke down in prayer in front of their elected officials. They weren't praying for rain, guys. They weren't praying for sunshine. They weren't even praying for a bumper crop. They were praying because their farms, their family land, their way of life is collapsing under tariffs and trade wars. And here's the truth. Those tariffs, that trade war, that whole playbook was born out of racism. Farmers were told the story that punishing foreigners would make America strong again. They were told to clap when leaders wagged their finger at China, Mexico, or whoever else they decided was the villain of the week. They were told it was patriotism, but really it was racism dressed up in red, white, and blue, and farmers bought it. They cheered it. They co-signed it. And now they are the ones paying the bill. Look at soybeans. Without tariffs, U.S. beans leaving New Orleans are cheaper than Brazil. But with tariffs, suddenly Brazil is winning. And who did that? Not God, not nature, not fate. Your own leaders waving a racist flag and calling it strength. And the farmers who clapped for it are now on their knees begging for help. This isn't the first time. History is packed with proof that racism bankrupts the very people it fuels.
Yes. And let's call it what it is, racism dressed as patriotism. Farmers were told, punish China, punish Mexico, they're stealing your jobs. But who really got punished? You. Soybean exports collapsed. Equipment costs soared. And now you're on your knees, not to God, but to the very leaders who sold you out. Hate doesn't grow crops, it just burns the field.
Jim Crow didn't just brutalize black citizens. It strangled the Southern economy for generations. Segregation didn't just rob black kids of opportunity. It robbed the entire South of progress, creativity, and prosperity. The Chinese Exclusion Act of the 1880s, it cut off immigrant labor that helped build America, leaving industries starved. Japanese internment during World War II, well, that destroyed businesses, farms, and families, and the whole economy bore the cost. Every single time America lets racism drive policy, the poison spreads. It never just hits the target. It always circles back. And now here we are again. Farmers in Arkansas prayed out loud last week because they're broke, and they know it. And some of them voted for this mess. Some of them cheered when the tariffs went into place because they thought it would put others in their place. But you can't hate and expect to harvest prosperity. You cannot poison your neighbor's well without eventually drinking from it yourself. So let's call this what it is. Racism is the poison in your soil. It's why your crops can't compete. It's why your barns are empty. It's why you bowed your head in front of men in suits who don't care about you at all beyond your vote. Racism doesn't just starve the people you think are your enemies, it starves you. Arkansas, this is your wake-up call. You can pray all you want, but you have to face the truth. Nothing changes unless you do. Racism isn't strength, it's weakness. It's not power, it's poison. It's killing your farms, your family, and your future. Please wake up.
Arkansas utility rates are about to go way up, and it's to pay for infrastructure projects in Texas?
Hold up, you're paying for Texas's power grid? Thanks to the Generating Arkansas Jobs Act, which actually generates 0 Arkansas jobs, you're funding a plant in another state. And unlike Texas or Louisiana, Arkansas lets utilities collect money up front, even if the project fails. So you pay, even if the lights never turn on. That's not policy, that's legalized theft.
What? Let me tell you how we got here, okay? The Southwestern Electric Power Company, we call it SWEPCO, is requesting a rate increase to collect $80 million for a $136 million project. That's the total cost of the project. So that represents an average 27% increase on most utility bills. That's the kicker. They're asking us in Arkansas to pay for 60% of this project. It's being built in Texas. Arkansas residents only make up 23% of their customer base. This is their service area. Do you really think Arkansans benefit from this the most? Why are we paying for 60%? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because our state lawmakers sold us out to lobbyists for SWEPCO and Entergy and utility companies like this. The legislative session earlier this year, Arkansas Republicans passed what they call the Generating Arkansas Jobs Act of 2025. It's a very cute title that has very little to do with actually bringing jobs to Arkansas. And the reason they're asking us to pay all this is because, unlike most states, Arkansas lets them get the money on the front end before they start construction. That was all part of this new bill, right? Well, in Texas and Louisiana, they can't increase their rates until that power plant becomes operational. That's how it used to be here in Arkansas, but not anymore. Now, even if they do this whole project and we pay in the $80 million, even if it never goes online, never produces anything, we're still on the hook for the money because we already paid it out and there ain't no getting it back. And that's not just conjecture. That's written into the law. And look, make no mistake, rate increases like this are not limited to Northwest Arkansas. Entergy's doing the exact same thing. They're asking for a rate increase to build a new natural gas power plant in Jefferson County near Pine Bluff. At least that one is being built in Arkansas, so the generating jobs piece might actually happen a little bit. There will be jobs related to infrastructure that come up with building a plant like that. What really irks me about this whole situation is that during session, they repeatedly assured us that Arkansas's residential customers would not end up paying these rate increases if the infrastructure upgrades were mainly to benefit commercial customers, right? Residential customers were supposed to be safe from that, and that's not what's happening here. But the reality is that these infrastructure upgrades are needed because there are so many data centers coming into Arkansas. And these data centers end up hiring very few people, and they take a massive toll on the local energy infrastructure, especially the water and electric utilities. And we'll be paying for it. This is in public comment period. It won't be decided till November. I would definitely recommend you call your state lawmaker and let them know what you think, because they do have some influence here Now, I'm not saying it's going to change anything. I'll be real with you. These lobbyists for these utility companies are way too powerful and have way too much influence on these lawmakers. So I can't promise you that this is going to make them do anything, but they should have to face you. They should have to answer for it.
Arkansas didn't fail. Its leaders did. But here's the hope. People are waking up, meeting in secret, organizing precinct by precinct. Because freedom isn't just low taxes. It's affordable power, safe births, and a senator who answers your damn email. So to every Arkansan watching, your vote isn't loyalty, it's leverage. Use it to fund schools, not scapegoats. Use it to lower bills, not build walls. If you're tired of being the punchline in Trump's stand-up act, smash like, subscribe, and in the comments, what policy finally woke up your county? Stay sharp, stay Southern, and remember, the only thing Arkansas should be exporting is truth. Real quick, by becoming a channel member, you're not just supporting our work, you're helping us amplify voices, fight misinformation, and keep important conversations alive. Membership gives us the strength to keep producing content that matters. Join today and stand with us in shaping a better future.